Well, what's up guys, and welcome back to my channel. I know it's been a while since I've made any videos, but I finally got something to shoot on. It's winter, the snow's kind of gone away for now. We're supposed to get more, but for now it's good. But with everybody ordering fat bikes, I've seen a lot of concerns in some of the groups I'm in with how they're going to transport them. And I've used a couple different racks. I've used the kind that hang off your trunk. I've used the kind that go in the hitch and that hangs the bike. And I wasn't really happy with those, so I got the kind that have the wheel trays or whatever you want to call them, and then it's got a clamp that comes down. So I got it off Amazon and it was relatively cheap compared to the other ones. This one was, I think I got it for about 250 bucks, and it holds 4 bikes, or you can opt for the 2-bike version, which is like I think $179. I'll leave a link in the description below. I've seen other similar racks and they go for 450 bucks just for 2 bikes. Well, this one will hold 4, it is 250 bucks, and it's rated to hold 60 pounds per bike. So that's pretty good, and I think that's about where we are if you take the battery off, which I always do. I take my batteries off when I put my bike in transport. I don't want to have to worry if I've locked the battery, and if it falls off, you know it's going to get destroyed and ran over probably, and you may never even find it. So I always take my batteries off, keep them inside the car, especially in the winter, to keep them warm if I'm going somewhere. So without any further ado, let's get on with putting the bike rack on the back of the SUV. And we'll do it at the end of the video. We'll do a little drive test and you guys can see how it works. I mean, I've already checked this rack out. It's very, very strong, and I have no doubts that it's gonna work great. So without any further ado, let's get the rack together. Okay guys, as you can see here, this comes already assembled, and it comes with the tools you'll need. And it also comes with a hitch pin and a lock for your hitch pin. The directions suggest that we install this on whatever vehicle we're working on first, so let's go ahead and do that. Okay, now that we got this installed, so let's go ahead and go grab the cross supports that the wheel trays slide onto and get those installed. Now when you're installing these, it's got holes here and holes on the rack that line up. All right, now I gotta go grab the carriage bolts, and then we'll go ahead and secure these to the frame of the bike rack. Okay, these are the carriage bolts, and they all come in everything's nice and packaged really well. And it's got this, the carriage bolts have these notches on them here. And it lines up on this so you can tighten it down with the provided wrench. So let's go ahead and get that together. Okay, now that we got those in place, we're gonna go ahead and tighten it up with our provided wrench. This wrench is kind of weird to work with, so if you have some better tools, I would advise using them. I'll go ahead and use this though, and whatever tools that came with it, for the people that don't have tools. But if you do have a different set of tools, I would suggest getting a wrench that fits these. This thing kind of slides off, kind of weird to work with, but not horrible. Okay, with that little wrench, I found if you hold it at a slight angle as you're tightening the bolts, it doesn't slip off as much. So now that we got the cross supports done, let's go ahead and get the wheel trays and get those slidden on. I said slidden, let's get them slid on. You can tell I haven't shot a video for a while. I'm a little out of practice. Okay guys, I got the wheel trays here. Comes in this package bag, and if you'll notice, they are labeled. There's a right and a left. So just, you know, one right, one left, one right, one left. Pretty easy to install, so let's go ahead and get those slid on. Now you want to go ahead and leave them loose because you're going to have to adjust it for the width of the bike once we get it up there. So we'll go ahead and get the other side of the wheel trays on, and then we'll go ahead and start lining things up to get the bike on. So now that we got all 4 wheel trays on, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and get the bike over here, and I'm gonna leave it kind of in front of the rack and get a loose or a close guesstimate on to where they need to be before I go ahead and put the bike up there. So let's go ahead and do that. Oh, wait a second. Let's do one more thing before that. I'm gonna weigh the bikes to show you how much they actually weigh, so you guys know that this rack will be worth getting. Let's weigh bike number 1. As you saw there, 54.4 pounds. So we're already, 5.5 pounds roughly under the weight limit for each bike. Bike number 2. That bike is 60.8 pounds. It's a smidge over. Me personally, I'm not that worried about it. Because whatever the manufacturer rating, it's rated for a little bit more, but they keep it under. That's what I think. So I'm okay with that. So let's go ahead and start getting them mounted on the bike rack. And like I said, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna kind of set the bike out in front of the rack here and kind of get a guesstimate to where the wheel trays need to be, and then we'll go from there. Okay, that looks pretty close, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and drop the bike rack down to make it easier to get the back bike on. So that looks pretty close. Okay, now that we got the bike up there, we kind of got an idea where the wheel trays go. We got to install these S-hooks. So I'm going to put the short one on first because her frame's so short, and then mine will go on top of that, and they just slide down. Now that I got everything on there, I like the way everything fits. I'm gonna go ahead and tighten everything up, and then we'll do the drive test. Okay, as you guys can see, I got both bikes mounted on the back of the rack. So I'm gonna go for a drive with the GoPro pointed at the bike so you can see how much they move around in transit. Okay, now that we did the drive test, we'll go ahead and remove the bikes, and I'll show you how you can store it on the vehicle without having to take it off. Okay, now that we got the bikes off, if you just want to leave it on your vehicle and you're not going to be using it, it's got a little button right here you just push. These lay down, pull this lever on the side, flip it up out of the way. That easy. Alright guys, well that's kind of my explanation of the bike rack and the rack I bought. Hopefully this helps you guys out with making a decision on what to use to transport your retro style e-bikes. And thanks a lot for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment if you guys got questions. I always try to answer them. So thanks a lot for watching. We'll see you next time.
Jesus did! Look what Jesus did! Look what Jesus did!